What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's that time, Boss Rush Podcast. We're here today, live right now on twitch.tv/X's803. It's temporary home right now. But going along with that, right beside me is, of course, the enlightened and excited Eddie V.
Hello, everybody.
The wise Wisconsinite, Jesse.
How's it going?
And the PlayStation Doctor is in the house, Austin.
What's up, everyone?
No witty remarks. Nothing about the Vita. Guys,
go get Scourgebringer on Vita. Everyone, go get Scourgebringer on Vita. Just came out. It's a great Vita game. Shuhei Yoshida gave it the thumbs up. That's all you need to know. And yeah, I don't know when the store's gonna shut down. It got canceled, but they may say no, we're gonna shut it down tomorrow instead. So who knows? Who knows?
I think they'll shut it down by next year. I mean, there's no reason to keep it up.
Actually, I don't think next year. I think 2023 is the one. Yeah. I think 2023.
As long as people are making games for the Vita, they might as well keep the store up.
They should keep the marketplace open. Yeah.
They sell every time they put it up.
It's so fun. It's so funny that people are still making games for the Vita, and people are just like, I can't believe they're gonna close the store. But people are still making games for the NES and Sega Genesis and stuff like that, and people are ordering and not complaining and stuff. Like that's amazing to see how the community or a new lane of indie developers are still making games for these older consoles that are not in production.
Yeah, isn't it like, I think it's like Australia or somewhere where the Sega is still like their only it's one of the
it's mostly country. Brazil. It's mostly Brazil.
That's what it is. Yeah, like because that country, they're not allowed to get any video game stuff, like new video game stuff.
They can't.
Now they have to make stuff for the older ones that they already have.
They can, but it costs 70% more here. So whatever costs like $200 here, it's like $1,500 there.
Yeah.
And that's why we got Blazing Chrome with the Sega Genesis look on indie games, because that was what they only can create at the time. They can't make high detailed games because no one in Brazil will buy them because they cost so much.
Yeah.
Well, it's Saturday, April 24th. What's new and exciting? I know this is basically the end of the week and the weekend for everybody. What's been going on?
Well, besides craziness at work for me, my new blog is out called Reunite in the Field. So, talking about Konami and Nintendo might be getting back together in business. So I invite you guys to read that one. Definitely the way that they just did the indie direct. It's really good to see that Konami is getting back into games or publishing these indie games. And I feel like if they do well and it's on a lot of Nintendo consoles or just the Switch platform, I think Konami might be getting back into a better place. So do go read that one. Other than that, just playing a ton of games, buying a lot of indie stuff, and starting out with Near Replicant, and I'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
all right.
I've been
gonna be able to play it?
Huh?
Are you gonna be able to play Near Replicant?
Yeah, actually, I am. I will be able to play, even though I literally just picked up like 8 games this week. Thank you, Austin, and thank you,
Lord.
Thank you, Austin, and thank you, Nelly, for the eShop cards for my birthday. And then getting ready for Pokemon Snap, and I want to do Returnal, but I got that on hold until I get a PS5.
Wait a second. Well, hold on. Austin, how much money did you and Nelly give him?
I actually don't remember, to be quite honest.
So Austin gave me 35, Nelly gave me 50.
Yo. Okay. We're gonna have words Tuesday night.
Why?
We're gonna have words Tuesday night. No. No, I'll be on Power Block Monday. But Crossroads
yeah.
Crew's gonna have some conversation on Tuesday night.
I mean, it was my birthday. They blessed me, and I'm happy that the way that they blessed me. So I
And
can.
Nelly better not say she doing schoolwork Tuesday.
Your birthday's coming up, LeRon.
Yeah.
Your birthday's coming up.
You'll probably have Ratchet and Clank by then, ready to go.
Yeah.
Actually, what Ratchet and Clank's after my birthday, right? I think it
It's in
is.
June.
Yeah, no, yeah. My birthday is June 3rd.
Oh, so
I think it's after. It's after.
It's after. Okay.
I watched the Mortal Kombat movie the other day. I thought it was so good. I've been seeing a lot of mixed reviews, but I honestly I don't know what people aren't liking about it. Like well, I seen something about someone saying that like, and this was before I watched it. I seen someone say like, oh, them saying like fatality and flawless victory and things like that, like took them out of the movie. And so like I thought that like they were gonna say something like that, like, you know, just overly campy, like every time there was a fight, and that wasn't the case. It was just, you know, just a witty comment after they like beat the crap out of someone. So I don't know, man. I thought it was amazing. Like they did a really good job of with the fights and stuff, and it does, like, I thought they did a really good job of balancing that line of being too cheesy, and, you know, like they made it feel like a really, like a good, like Japanese kind of like fighting, you know, kind of movie, but they still did a good job of kind of having that humor that you know, Mortal Kombat has in its own way. And they did a pretty good job too of being like very brutal and violent without, like, you know, making that super cheesy too.
I
don't know. I thought they did a good job on the movie.
I haven't seen it yet, but did I hear you correctly? Did they say like flawless victory and fatality and all that stuff?
Well, like, yeah, one of the guys, after he beats someone, he just kind of wittily says like flawless victory.
Okay.
Like,
It's fan service. Okay, that's not enough. That's not enough to pull me out of it. I was thinking like, you know, some disembodied voice was doing that crap. You know.
No, they would say it like someone would say it like after, you know, and
But a lot of people are just saying the fights are good, but the story is the mess. Like the story and the dialogue is making the movie messy. It's making it not good. But I'm like, it's more to combat. What you expect?
Yeah, no, no, and I think the story was perfect. Like, I like, you know, like I think it's really cool the way and this isn't really like spoiling anything, but like, you know, Sonya isn't, like, when she, you know, like they do a lot of character building and explain really well, like the whole idea of, you know, you're a chosen one if you've got the, you know, the Mortal Kombat logo, you know, like that's kind of like on you, on your body, you know, somewhere. And so Sonya in the movie, she doesn't have one of the you know, the symbols on her, so she's just fighting as a mortal against these people who have powers and stuff. But the whole way it works is if you kill someone with the symbol, then you become a chosen one. And so she at one point is fighting people who potentially have, like, you know, have powers of some sort. And that's how she gets hers, you know, gets to become you know, this person with powers.
Okay.
So like it's cool. I like her character a lot. She's pretty badass. Like I thought they did a really good job of portraying those characters and giving them a good a good personality, and that kind of fits like who you'd imagine they would be.
Well,
So,
that's probably one of the things I know. The critics have been critiquing it, but the viewers have been enjoying it. So that's like the mixed bag
yeah.
of this movie.
Now, what's
Like as
what's
a Mortal Kombat fan, it's like it blows anything else that we've ever experienced out of the water. You know, like I mean, it's really good as a fan. I think so.
what's crazy about this is the cast. Like, I don't really know a lot of the actors in the cast. Like, I mean, like Joe Taslim, who is Sub-Zero. I know that guy because that guy was the cop that survived that hell in that movie, The Raid Redemption.
I would have such a good movie.
Louis Tan, Hiroyuki Sanada, like that. When you need an older Asian guy, that's usually who Hollywood always picks, you know, which I'm not really complaining about it. You know, he's got that look, he's got the distinction, he's got that voice and everything. And McKed Brooks that plays Jax. Like those are the only ones I really recognize. I feel like the other ones are kind of like just not offensively saying no name, but you know, I feel like kind of no name.
They're new to American viewers who probably don't know they work, because I don't know anybody besides the one that just mentioned from the Ray. That's probably like the only person that I know. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I joked that the only thing I was disappointed is we didn't get a toasty. Like at some point, but that would be
no. See, that's how you would pull me out of the mood. That.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it would be funny. It would be funny, but
they would have to know exactly what they're doing to make that work.
That would have to be like, you know how when they go through the credits and then halfway through the credits they do like a bonus scene and then go resume back the credits.
But I don't.
The thing.
Because I remember when they did it in the original movie, and I was like, "Oh, come on, guys."
Yeah, I don't think that was a thing technically until like Mortal Kombat 3.
Mortal Kombat 2.
Was it 2? Oh yeah, I guess it was 2. Yeah, but still, I mean, I it's just a joke, anyways. Yeah, they don't need to do that kind of stuff, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the second movie because they.
Wait. Is that a spoiler? Is that a spoiler?
No. Because I mean, think about it. Mortal Kombat is like, if you know the lore, it's something that happens all the time. Like it's a continuous thing that every time it comes back around to the next Mortal Kombat, for this battle for Earth, and like in that stuff, they have to find new characters and new people to help battle every time. So yeah, like the lore is perfect for movies, that they can continuously make them as long as we continuously have Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say on this is I feel like video game movies have always had to find that line of fantasy and realism, because like this is a movie adapted from like another like franchise or license, or medium. There we go. Yeah. And when traditionally as moviegoers, we try to have our movies, actually entertain us and feel like a movie, and not feel like a whole bunch of fan service, or or a whole bunch of this, or like if we want to see comic book stuff, we just keep reading comics. You know what I'm saying? Like Marvel does it pretty well, as far as like finding their balance. Of course, like like we know that some of the stuff, of course it's like like ultra sci-fi or ultra fantasy or whatever, but like video game movies still haven't. A lot of video game movies still haven't found that line yet, and that's why like stuff like this, like when Jesse was saying, like people were complaining about like things are bringing about it. I haven't seen the movie yet, so like I have no opinion on it right now, because that's how I've been kind of doing for like the last decade now when it comes to video game related movies. I have no opinion before I go into it.
And I think that's why I enjoyed the Monster Hunter movie. Like this is,
I thoroughly enjoyed the Monster Hunter movie.
Exactly, and it's just like, this is popcorn fun. Like like I said, I love that movie because it's popcorn fun. It has it has some notice of the Monster Hunter series, but it's not like the actual series. It just have elements from it. And once again, Ron Perlman wig is still one of the craziest wigs in a movie I have ever seen.
What I
It
will
is nonsense.
what I definitely like about the Monster Hunter movie is because when you play the Monster Hunter games, like your character seems superhuman. I mean, like you can jump from a damn mountain and survive. You take no red damage, you know. You fall off a giant ass cliff or something. But in the Monster Hunter movie, they conveyed that even the people who exist in that universe can get jacked up from doing some death defying physics like that.
What about you, Austin? What you been up to?
Just notice we haven't even gotten to the what we've been playing section of the show.
We haven't got to the housekeeping yet.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're just at the what have we been doing, not playing. What have we been doing?
Well, we haven't done a whole lot. We were both off yesterday, so we went and got groceries, and then I played Call of Duty for a little bit, but we ended up watching Soul last night.
Oh, good movie.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
That movie.
I gotta watch it. I fell asleep.
It's definitely a little slow at the very beginning. It's like, all right, where is this going? Like, where are we getting to? And then once you kind of figure, like, once they get more into the, like, I feel like it's not one of the most comedic Pixar movies. So if you're looking for like that kind of comedy aspect, you're not gonna get it as much. But at the end result is a really good movie. So other than that, I've been playing games and working. That's about all I do. I'm gonna play D&D tonight, so that's what I'm looking forward to. So
nice. Online?
No. My friend Nick, who's on the Land Party podcast, he hosts one at his house every Saturday.
Oh,
so
cool.
We all get together and play D&D on Saturdays.
Nerd.
Yeah. I don't go as much as I would like to. I go maybe once a month, unfortunately, but I love it every time I go. So
that's fun. That's cool.
All right. Well, is it time for housekeeping now?
Yeah.
All right. This is the Boss Rush Podcast, the podcast show, the flagship show of the Boss Rush Network, where each and every week we're live on Twitch. And we come together with our friends from around the internet to talk about games and everything we love about them. You can follow the Boss Rush Podcast on Twitter at Boss Rush Network. You can email the show at bossrushnetwork@gmail.com. And please join the Boss Rush Network Discord. Also, remember you can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast apps every Monday. Remember to leave us a nice review and a 5-star rating. And you can catch everything from Boss Rush Network at our website, bossrushgames.com. Okay, so now we can do the what have we been playing. All right, so guys, what y'all been playing? Who wants to go first?
You wanna go ahead first? Might
Yeah.
go in order we did when.
So I started Sundred. My good friend Indie Nation, he kind of recommended, and I think they're doing it for their backlog. Not challenge, but like their backlog book club kind of thing. So I picked it up, and it's a pretty fun game. It's like a Metroidvania style game. Playing that. Finish a game called When the Past Was Around, and it's kind of like a hand-drawn puzzle, point-and-click puzzle game, which was really good and is very emotional. Great music, like they do a lot of piano and violin with it. Like, so the soundtrack is great, but it's very emotional. You could probably beat it within an hour. And
1 hour? 1 hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I love about this game, and I think this is what I love about indie games, is that when we talk about emotions in games and like being connected and stuff, I love that indie games are able to have that freedom to do it, because I don't think third party or first party games can do the same without it feeling forced and everything. Because it's just like you I'll talk to Yamada Zero in our chat. right now, and she told me about Near Replicant, which I'll end in the segment with. Get ready to feel emotional and stuff. And I was just like, if this is on the same emotional like Gears 2 and Gears 3, I'm going to crack up because the way that Dom, I think is it Dom's, his wife, the way that she got captured and killed, and then the way that he sacrificed himself in Gears 3, spoiler alert, was literally funny to me. I'm like, this is terrible. Like, I understand what you're trying to do, but the presentation of this is just bad. And I ended up laughing. So, but I think games like Greed and I think games like The Garden Between and stuff like that, that indie games, like when they really produce emotions in their games, it feels natural. And when the past around really deals with a character, Ebba, she ends up losing her husband, who's a musician, but it tells the story on how they met and how everything goes. And you like find clues and stuff to progress the story, and it's so good with it. And I recommend anyone to play it. I played it on Switch. I think it's on PC, but when it pass around, it's just so good. So last I'll end up with, of course, I played my Son of Rise, loving that game. Picked up some new weapons, and getting them upgraded and stuff. But Near Replicant, I ended up starting for a PS4. Jesse, I think you got it for Xbox One. Did you pick it up? Anything?
Yep. I pre-ordered it. Yeah, I had pre-ordered it up on Xbox.
Okay, so we'll probably talk more about it on AX. I have the original Nier Automata on PS4, so that's why I got Replicant there. It feels fast and it feels polished, and I think this is what I love about Platinum. It's just like when you give them time to work on games and you give them time to like let them polish and fix stuff, they make amazing, great games, amazing work and stuff. And this game looks like it's gonna be like really fun. The story wise, I can't wait till I play more of. But the combat feels fluid enough. It feels actually better than Near Automata. Which I definitely love and enjoy. It still have that. It still, in a sense, has that treasure kind of vibe to it. But this game, the controls feel more simple, and the fighting and the action feels more fast and fluid. So I can't really wait till I play more. I will say that his outfit, after you start the game, you get into the village, he's wearing some Final Fantasy 14 cowboy boots with some kind of armor that looks ridiculous, and I'm like, what in the world is this? This Miss Final Fantasy game, like I don't know what Square Enix and Platinum was thinking of, but the character design of his outfit is terrible. It is it's past questionable content, and I don't know what Yamada say in the chat, but Yamada, you know what I'm talking about when it says after 1,462 years after like the prologue starts, you know what outfit that he's wearing, and I know you had to laugh to be like, this is nonsense, but I can't wait till I play more of it. So that's pretty much what I've been playing.
Jesse, your turn.
All right. So I've been playing. I played a couple of times the MLB The Show on Xbox. It was kind of weird and cool, because not only do you see the PlayStation logo stuff when it boots up, but if you also notice that the loading symbols that are down in the bottom corner, like it's the baseball, but it's a circle, X, square, triangle, down in the bottom.
Hey, hang on. I need to interrupt you for 1 second. I'm so mad at everybody that has access to that game right now because I have Game Pass on PC. That game's not available yet.
For which game?
Yeah.
MLB The Show.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I mean that's just how Game Pass works though with that, unless you because there's also games that are on the PC one that we don't get on the Xbox. But that's just the nature of it.
Yeah, but you console guys get the preferential treatment because trust me, I think Microsoft knows that everybody wants to play MLB The Show.
Well, although I mean, Flight Simulator was like a 10 out of 10, and we still don't have it yet.
Hey! I can't help it because hardware is not where it's supposed to be at for you guys.
Well, no, it's the hardware is there. It's just they got to work on making the version of it that runs on console. I mean.
Mm.
But yeah, so I played that, and I'm enjoying it. I do not care about baseball, but I mean, this game is fun enough where it's the same thing as like back in the day. Me and my friends, some of our favorite sports games we would love to play on like N64 was hockey, even though I literally know nothing about any of the teams because I don't get hockey on our channels or stations here because we don't really it's just for whatever reason we just don't don't get it on our channels really. I think every once in a while I think we might get something, but
that's surprising considering
yeah,
you're
I know. I mean, we're really well, and we're super close to Minnesota, who has a team. And we have the Green Bay Gamblers, which is like just they're not obviously in the NHL or whatever, but like I guess they're a lot of fun to go watch, and like me and my wife were planning on trying to go because hockey is one of those things that I definitely would get into if I had easy access to being able to watch it, just because like like I like the format of hockey, and I like that it's very fast paced, and it's very similar in a lot of ways to soccer, but with more fights and things like that. But so yeah, I'm enjoying that game, even though I don't care about baseball, but I just like how they kind of have it set up where you can really ultimately, however you want to play that game, or what whatever is the best way for you to play that game, they basically have a setting to do it. And and I thought that was really cool. Like I wish more sports games would do that, like give you options of how you do use the controls to do do the things that you need to do.
And what's really special about, not to cut you off, Jesse, but what's really special about MLB The Show is they actually have a setting where the difficulty works with your skill. So if you play worse, the computer knows where your skill is and will adjust. So it's always competitive. You can't get too good for the game, and you can't get too bad for the game. You're always going to have fun with it, unless you're just terrible.
Unless you just suck.
Yeah, unless you just suck. There's no excuse for it. So, and that's why I like it, because I'll play Madden and I'll be like really good on this setting and always lose on the next setting, and so I can't ever find a comfort spot. With baseball, they always try to find you that kind of rhythm where you can play, and that they're the only sport game that does that I'm aware of, and I've played mostly all of them. So
yeah, I definitely was glad that was a thing, because like you said, it is disappointing when you have a thing where there's like no in between, where you put one setting and you just feel like it's way too easy, you're walking all over everyone, but then the next setting is like it's not, it's way too hard, and there's just not that balance. But yeah, they did a really good job of just balancing that game out in general. So, but because I suck at baseball games as it is, because like it's so, I'm so bad at determining like when the ball is close enough that I need to be swinging, like, because I'm always either swinging too early or too late. And like I can, like, it's really hard for me to hit that sweet spot. I think just because of the nature of it being a 2D thing, it's hard. You've got to learn like what size the ball is on your screen essentially. You know, is when you need to swing. So like I was bad at that, but I mean I did get a couple of like home run hits, you know, eventually, but I've always shined when it comes to pitching though in baseball games. Like I can almost always like get no hitters just because like I'll make it, you know, like the ball go all crazy or whatever, and you know, just crazy or crazy enough that it's unhittable, but looks, you know, to the game looks like it's a hittable ball and they swing and miss it. But yeah, so I've been enjoying that, and I also have been playing more of Outriders, and I just absolutely love that game. I think it's such a good game.
It's funny because like the game is starting to get more and more popularity despite like all this stuff that's going on with it.
Well, the game's being fixed and patched. Yeah. People could actually play it on the servers. So
well, yeah. I mean, it's I personally I've played it a bunch of times now, and I've never once since release had troubles logging in. But I think part of it too is because like what I noticed before is it does take a long time to log in sometimes into the game, but I think people were getting too impatient and thinking that it wasn't working. But if you just let it load, it eventually loads in.
It was crashing here and there, and definitely for like a lot of PC players, they couldn't play the game, and that's why when it came out, they were just like, we know about the problems, we're trying to fix this stuff. So that's why I think now it's better for it. I haven't heard anything bad about it.
But that's mostly what I've been playing. I did do some stuff on Switch a little bit too. I've been I played Pac-Man 99, and that game is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I haven't played a whole lot of it yet, but yeah, I want to play some more of that, jump into that. It's a good game for when I just don't really feel like doing a whole lot, and just kind of something fun and easy I can jump into. So
yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've been playing Black Ops Cold War quite a bit. I'm playing a bunch of different games on my Switch. Like I've been playing Dead Cells. I played Mutant Football League.
Nice.
I've just been playing some different stuff on there. I need to get back into Murder by Numbers, but
yes.
I don't know. I really like want the story to continue, but then there'll be another Picross, like another one. I'm like,
that is the thing. The stories are so good, but the Picross just ruined the flow of it.
Yeah. But like I think mostly it's because I usually play my Switch like kind of before I go to bed. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting to that tired point, and I'm like, I can't do Picross right now. I cannot do that because I hate using like hints and stuff. Like I really just want to do I want to figure it out myself. I'm very like into puzzle games like that. So I played Oddworld, and I just kind of stopped. I didn't like it. I can't get into it.
A lot of people are not liking this one.
And I like Oddworld. I haven't played all of them. I'm not a huge fan. I loved Stranger's Wrath on Vita, but this game is like, it looks like a PS5 game, but it does not play like a PS5 game. And that's kind of how I put it on Crossroads. Is just, it doesn't, and everything just, it doesn't like, I'll just say this. When I got the PS5 and I started playing different games, the buttons just felt right. Everything felt so much more smooth. Like everything was just reacting the way I was pushing things. Like I'm pretty sure I got better on Call of Duty just because I have a PS5 now. Like everything just fits. Like everything I do, it like clicks. And this game, it just doesn't. I get frustrated with the controls. Like I'm like, no, stop doing that. And it wouldn't be so bad if it was like a little more forgiving. But it's not. Like it's kind of hard. And when you die, you walk slow, and to get back to your safe, get back to where you were is slow. Like everything's just slow. That whenever you fail, it's like, ugh, I gotta do this again. Like, so I just like I got so frustrated with it. I was just like, you know what? I don't really care. I don't care about the Oddworld storyline or anything enough to finish this. So I just like stopped, and then I started playing Maquette, and I love Maquette. I am really liking this game. It got very like middling reviews. Some people were saying that some of the puzzles were broken. I've never ran into that. Like there was a way that you could fail and then you'd have to like start all over because the way you did things. I haven't ran into that. But I really like puzzle games like this. Like I love The Witness and oh, what is that other one that Devolver did? Talos Principle, stuff like, of course, Portal. I love Portal, but I really like puzzle games like this. And Maquette is just, I don't know, it's really good. The music is, it's mostly silent, but every time you start a new level, they have like this kind of pop rock song that plays kind of loudly too, but it's really good music. And the voice acting is good. Like it's, Bryce Dallas Howard is in it, and I forgot who the guy is, but they do well. The story's interesting. I really like this game, but it's not a very hard puzzle game. I'll say that it's pretty easy. I haven't had really any like parts where I was like I feel stuck or lost or anything. It's pretty accessible puzzle game in my opinion. So, and I think that's it. I do want to play Outriders, but I don't want to buy it because I'm going to play Returnal. And once Returnal comes out, that's where I'm going.
Outriders, I'm waiting for a sale before I pick it up.
I really don't know how I feel. I really don't know how I feel about Outriders. I'll be honest with you. I really don't know.
Well, I was gonna play it because it was on Games Pass, but I have the OG Xbox One, and it took so long to load. It takes long to load everything that I just was like, you know what? I'll wait till I get a Series X, or I can get it on PlayStation 5. That's just kind of how I felt when I started playing it. But I do want to see it, and I think this is a conversation we could have in another episode, and maybe on Boss Rush on the website, is why Outriders, because I feel like Outriders can succeed and can compete with Destiny, and why Anthem couldn't. What's the difference?
I actually could answer that. I think Anthem didn't. I think because Anthem was too late in this demo, and the way that the flow of that game is not good, where you like do these story points and then you stop and then you got to go search stuff, and it was just like the flow of Anthem wasn't good. Where Outriders is just like it has that Gears of War kind of simplified gameplay that you could just easily get into and do, and Anthem doesn't have that. Anthem has great flying and great shooting mechanics, but the flow of that game is not good. Wasn't good for a lot of people. So I think that's kind of the thing about it. Because don't forget, Outriders, if it really didn't come to Game Pass, that demo would have destroyed that game.
Yeah, which is a bummer because the demo was really not a very good example of what that game would later become once it's really starts to open up quite a bit. I mean, it is a little bit more like a Gears game than it is a Destiny game, but like you could like at first I was like, okay, well, like what do they mean that this is not like trying to be one of those kind of games? But now I kind of, the more I play, I understand like their explanation of why they don't see it as a Destiny game, really, that it does have some, some linear feeling, but at the same time, like, like you've got the area that you can go back to and you can kind of figure things out and buy things from shops and, and like the one thing that I personally think that they do way better than Destiny is their whole like gun system and the perks and things that you have on guns and all that stuff. They made it so much easier than Destiny to just kind of let you make your gun whatever you want it to be as far as what kind of perks you want to put on it. Like because you can essentially, what you can do is there's a section you can mod your gun. You can upgrade your gun's level and its stats by using materials and things that you get throughout the game. And then on top of that, you can literally, whenever you break a gun down, you now have access to that perk that gun had. You now can use that perk and put it to any gun that you decide you want to upgrade or modify. So I really like that. I just really like that everything's kind of like, okay, I have all these guns I don't need. Okay, well, I break them down. Now I've got the material that I can focus on the gun that I have right now that I want to upgrade and change it if I want to. Like I just really like the modification and how open all that stuff is. And I think that it's way better than Destiny's in my opinion, but I know you can kind of do that stuff in Destiny as well, but it's very, very like there's so many different like things you've got to do, and like they just make it a little less accessible for people. So, but
well, LeRon, what you been playing?
I was just about to ask Austin, was that everything?
Oh, yeah. I think that was everything I played.
I mean, I'm boring. I've just been playing Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch. That's really all I've been doing. I mean, actually, I've only played this week. I've only played like 2 days, two evenings. I had a whole bunch of stuff going on, like a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff and things like that. So I hadn't really gotten any quality time in gaming. But I got some in last night, and I got some in the night before, and yeah. So I'm just doing my thing in Monster Hunter Rise right now. I'm technically at end game, but I've just been pacing myself because my problem with Monster Hunter Rise right now, and this is not really a big gripe, but this is more like anyone that's played more than like one Monster Hunter game, and I'm not including Monster Hunter World in that if they've played one Monster Hunter game before, is the main problem with Monster Hunter Rise is like you can get to the end game in like 3 days. And that's kind of weird for me for a Monster Hunter game. And I mean, like I break down Monster Hunter games. I do. Like I can if I want to run through a Monster Hunter game, I can do it. But I mean, it's crazy. And a lot of my friends and a lot of people I talk to are saying, well, it's because they have a DLC structure for it. I'm like, well, Monster Hunter World had a DLC structure for it, but it still took me like 2 or 3 weeks to get to end game, whereas like a lot of people got to end game in like before the end of the first week of the game being out. So it's just kind of weird, I'm not gonna, and I know people who are listening right now are probably thinking, yeah, he's one of those same guys that says the Monster Hunter games get easier and easier as they come out, and yeah, they have gotten easier and easier as they come out, but at the same time, like games like these, we've always known them to be grindy. And yeah, Monster Hunter Rise is grindy, but I mean, like, still, I'm looking at people who are making like absolute potato builds and still getting to the end game.
Right. Well, that's kind of how Fire Emblem was. Is that from the start of that series, it was difficult, but now the game has become more accessible because it has become easier, and they changed some of the gameplay things. So that might be one of the reasons with Monster Hunter Rise that it's evolving in a good and bad way. I think it's evolving good for people who are novice to the series. It's evolving in a bad way to the people who are experts because they know the insides and outs.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, because like a lot of people that know Monster Hunter historically know that there's always a beginning game and there's always an end game. Like for example, like the last Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World was the beginning game, and Monster Hunter Iceborne was the end game, which basically means it introduces G rank and all that stuff. And yeah, like Galatrad and I even talked about it on Hunters for Hire, that I do miss G rank, but I also know that they can't just throw a Monster Hunter game out and have G rank automatically in there. That's never been their structure. Like every Monster Hunter game has the initial game is companion game, just like most PC games have like their main game, they have their expansion, stuff like that. So that's not even what I'm getting on about. I just feel like it just seemed like if they were not planning any DLC or anything like that, end game came too quickly. Yeah, and I know, and DLC basically for Monster Hunter games or like event quests and stuff, they're there to pad the length of the game and actually add more stuff into it, and that is not a gripe or a complaint. It's just that I don't know, like I'm weird. When you play a series like this, as long as I have 17 years, I've been playing since basically day one that was available in the United States and stuff like that. I just notice things like these. That's really what it is. The game itself is fun though. Like I love all the new mechanics, all the conventions and everything. I finally got used to the wire bug. I finally got and now I've gotten to a point where like because anyone's playing Monster Hunter right now, like I know you're playing it, Ed.
Yeah.
Typically in your when you run your mission, you run with one cat and one dog, right?
Yes.
I just switched up. I'm running with two cats now. I'm going back. Really? I'm going back to the way it used to be.
Yeah, I'm
both cats.
Huh?
You said both cats.
Yeah.
Both Palicos.
Okay. Yeah, both Palicos. And the reason why is I love the Palamute. I do. Like I love being able to just like you need to get from point A to point B real fast, like do it. Mm-hmm. Like jump on the dog's back and get there, Because here's the one thing I've noticed. It seems like characters run slower. Like your character runs slower on foot than he did in previous Monster Hunter games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I keep it the same because I feel like my Palama is offense and my Palico is defense.
You haven't learned all the conventions of how the Palicos are doing.
I got my buddies like leveling up and stuff like that.
Well, there's 5 different classes of Palicos in the game. You've got your fighters, you've got your gatherers, you've got your support, you've got your they're called. There is no. They don't really have a class, but the barrel bombers, the bomber cats, and there's a fifth. And the healer class. So you got 5 different types of Palicos. They all do their things in the fights, in the battles to contribute and stuff like that. But so you just gotta learn your way around each one because like certain Palicos probably have like the one thing you want. Like if you wanted to throw like the giant buzzsaw boomerang where just like when he flings it, like it just like tags the monster and stays on it, or if you want ones that are like setting down traps and every time the monster moves it's just getting tagged and things like that. Yeah. You got
I'll be looking for my Palico to make that tree. I'm like, how do you make this dang tree?
I love the ones. I love the support ones that do the endemic the endemic life barrages and stuff like that. So like you'll be fighting, all of a sudden you see this giant like yellow cloud. Next thing you know, the monster's paralyzed and can't move and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, give me those hits. Or you'll just be swinging your weapon, and all of a sudden the monster falls asleep, and it's like, what? And realize your Palico threw a freaking sleep toad at in the middle of the fight.
When are they gonna make a real version of that game where you play as the cats and then you can pick your humans that are?
Hold on, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate had a mode where you can play as the Palicos.
Yeah.
But then did you have a human as your?
No. When you went to the I forget what the mode was called, but when you pick that mode, when you pick that mode, there's no human besides you as the companion. But the cool thing is in multiplayer though, you can select the Palico and everybody else can select humans they want. So like technically it still feels like the Monster Hunter experience, whereas like the cats and the humans are out there fighting.
I was just meaning like more realistically, the cat is usually the one who's in charge.
Oh God, I would honestly hate to see. I would honestly hate to see what the player NPC would be like if you played in the Palico mode.
Oh, wow.
Like stumbling over their feet and stuff.
But they're so cute. They're so fun.
Yeah, but Yeah, but the end of the month, the end of the month is the version 2.0 for Monster Hunter Rise. So like we're getting a returning Elder Dragon that hasn't been seen in. This would be his third game he'll be in. And then there's supposed to be some additional monsters, including like an Apex version of Rathalos, and some additional monsters, which I think Jacob and we kind of broke that down. We
Did
think
they didn't do the showcase yet, right? Is it this coming
no,
week?
it's coming this week. It's coming this week.
Okay.
But by the time everybody's heard it, by the time everybody's heard this show, like it will already have happened, and the new content will be out.
Okay.
But yeah, Galatrad and I we've been speculating, and what we think is going to happen is there are monsters in the game. They're like the drone versions of big monsters, the bigger monsters that have been in other series. For example, Ed, you've seen the Jagresses, the little
Yes.
yellow lizard monsters.
Yeah.
Where's Great Jagras at? In the ice level, there's these little shark things that are running around. They're called Zamites.
Yeah.
Like there's a giant large monster version of that guy called Zamtrios. And so we're sitting down thinking, you know what? For every monster in the game that we've seen a drone for, but there's no boss monster for that. Those are probably coming in additional games. The rock wyvern Basarios. That's the baby version of another monster called Gravios.
I think probably with like future Nintendo Directs, and Capcom Directs, that we'll see all of that in eventually grade come on, and then probably later on, by probably next year, by the time the PC version come out, there might be a not a remix version, but like version that like everything is collected all together.
Well, let's see if this if this game
edition.
This game just came out. This game just came out last month. So if we look at Monster Hunter Rises, Monster Hunter World's timeline, it'll be 2023 when we get like what we would be probably the announcement for the G rank version of it, the G version of the game, or the ultimate version. Ultimate is what they call it here in the United States.
Okay, yeah,
yeah. But that's been it. Like I barely played any games. In the last couple of days, I did play. It was Monster Hunter.
All right.
Well, I think it's time to get started with the news topics. I think some of these are going. I think a couple of these are going to be pretty good because I want to get into like our meaty conversation.
Yes.
A little bit later in the show, and I have a game picked for 20 questions, but depending on time, we'll figure it out. All right, so our first news topic for the Boss Rush Podcast, episode 92, is Hazelight Studio celebrates It Takes Two, the game crossing 1 million copies sold. Now, remember, this game just came out. I think it's only 3 weeks old now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they've hit 1 million units sold, and it's still going. All right, so It Takes Two has officially sold over 1 million copies, and its writer and director, Josef Fares, says that this proves that there are players who want to play co-op only games. Now remember, It Takes Two and Josef Fares are also the same group that got us A Way Out, which was also a very popular game that was released back during the PS3, Xbox One cycle. And I enjoyed that game. I haven't had a chance to play It Takes Two as of yet, but it's on my list. Taking to Twitter, developer Hazelight Studios shared the news saying that, wow, just found out It Takes Two has sold over 1 million copies and is still going strong. Thank you so much for all the love you've shown to our game. It means the world to us. I know Nelly's been playing It Takes Two over at Crossroads. Has anybody else been playing It Takes Two?
I have not.
Not yet.
I do like that you only need to buy one copy, and then you know if you want a friend to play, you just there's like a code or something you give them.
Yeah.
And then they could, like I think that helps a lot too. Like just because then that you can buy it and not have to be like, okay, well, is my friend gonna buy it too? You're not really reliant on both parties buying it, which is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Ed's gonna play it with me once I get it.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, get him on.
Okay, so goodness, the struggle for this news story. Um, because everybody knows I don't like
Woo!
him,
Salt,
and
salt.
everybody knows I don't like him. I think It Takes Two is fine. I don't agree with his quote that this is the proof. I'm like, we've been doing co-op games way in the past that has sold millions of copies. Just because you sold one on multiple platforms doesn't make this
No,
the proof of.
he sold two.
So it.
He sold two, pun intended.
Oh, right. So it's I guess people like it, but I'm just like it's just a two-player version of Mario Party, and that has done numbers and stuff like that. Like I don't know nothing about this game and nothing about what he does really makes it surprising that it's going to do well.
Well,
He's
I didn't know we were. I didn't know we were on our third topic right.
no no well. The thing about it is that people are having fun with it, but I'm like, I don't think this game is proof that people like to play co-op games. I'm like, yeah, Contra did the same thing back on the NES that we still have fun to play with. Just because
okay, hold
it
on. Okay, hold
one-
on. Hang on. Okay. So, like, you can say that from 35 years ago, like the face of gaming has changed a lot.
Right.
It has.
But the thing about it is just like the idea of co-op gaming has been here for years.
Co-op gaming has been here for years, but
He's just what he's trying to reference is, I guess, online co-op is the proof that this game is the reason that people really want to play games.
Well, It Takes Two has a couch mode too.
Well, yeah, but my thing about it is I don't think this game is the proof of it and stuff. Just because you sold a million doesn't mean that that this proves that co-op games of this nature, I should say, is the proof that people want to play. I'm like, you made a co-op game that people enjoy. You sold a million. Great. Dead Cells and Cuphead and other games have done the same thing. So I mean, which Dead Cells is actually a single player game. But there's been other co-op games that has come out before that has done millions in sales, whether it's on one console or it's on multiple consoles. So just
I get what he's saying though. Like what Yosef Fares is saying is, we don't see like just a giant smorgasbord of freaking co-op games showing up. We don't see that, like as a matter of fact, nowadays, like co-op game is a feature that they use to get you to buy the game nowadays.
Yeah, and mind you, no, remember, this is co-op only. Like it's not you can
you can't play it by yourself.
It is only co-op.
Right, but he didn't state it that way. In the news it says that people want to play co-op games. He didn't say co-op only games. He said in co-op games.
But actually, well, he didn't say it, but he didn't say it, but I said it in the intro to this.
Okay, so because I think my thing is, well, I've maybe the mechanism or the functionality of co-op games that this is nothing new. That people, of course, they enjoy playing games that feature co-op. Yeah, okay, co-op only games. We just talked about Destiny. Destiny is designed to be a co-op game, even though it has a single player feature on it. It's designed to be co-op. You can't really play It Takes Two because that's the name in the title. Two.
Yeah.
A Way Out. The story the story tells that you have to use two characters. You have to use with two brothers. There's another two in it. You have to do that kind of with co-op and stuff. So it's like this is the only game that you design. Well, let's see, you design a single player game. Does that still do that same reasoning holds up? Or something, or
I mean, we know single player experiences work. Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted, we know those work. What he's trying to say, and maybe journalism is doing a bad job of paraphrasing it, is that what he's trying to say is that there's still a demand for co-op only games. There's still a demand for that. And before we start mincing things, like multiplayer doesn't count. Games like Call of Duty and stuff like that, because guess what? For games like A Way Out and It Takes Two, like it encourages you to find someone you know to play this game. Whereas you can jump in and jump out of Monster Hunter, you can jump in and jump out of Battlefield, Call of Duty, you can jump in and jump out of Bulletstorm, stuff like that. I mean, not Bulletstorm. I'm sorry, Outriders. Well, Bulletstorm counts too. Yeah, you can jump in and jump out of those. You don't have to know these people. You make friends along the way. That's one thing. But these games are encouraging you to like grab a buddy and play these games. And something can be said about like the Mario parties and the Animal Crossings and all that stuff. But even Animal Crossing, like technically, there's an anonymous element to Animal Crossing, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And there's a lot of games that's not co-op only and stuff that they like, get you a friend to play. Like you try to run Ikaruga by yourself through that game and let's see how far you get. That game encourages 2-player because it's designed to be a 2-player game, even though it is a single player. It has that single player option and stuff. I'm just saying that he's happy that people are asking for this. I'm like, no, people, you made a great game. People enjoy what they play.
Ed is being a hater. He keeps circling back. Back to that.
In my line, how many people have been talking about his games in the past and stuff? Like, okay, people are.
Now you asked the question. I need to see how many games.
People are. Go ahead. People are streaming it and they're enjoying it, but I'm like, no one has been talking about him and his games until they actually release, and then when people got their feel of it, they move on.
This guy's only done 3 games, Ed.
Well,
this guy's only done 3 games.
Well, yeah.
I mean, and
you play it and you move on.
And if I'm being realistic here, all 3 of these games are games that winds up in everybody's mouths.
Well, yeah, because people are, like I said, you make a great game that people are enjoying. Of course, it's going to be in everybody's mouths. Like that.
Yeah, but he's 3 for 3.
Yeah, so, exactly.
And that's good.
Even the greats like Hideo Kojima and Keiji Inafune can't say they have a 100% like record right now. They can't say that. They've been in the industry as long as video games have been a thing.
Right, but you are going to have some ups and you are going to have some downs. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for him just to say that people won't co-op only games. I'm just like that is a mode that people are known for. Yes, you design it differently in a specific way, but it's not the end all be all that people are asking for it, because you could have this stuff and sell big and stuff, but look, Mario Kart 8 is like
that's not co-op. That's competitive. That's not co-op.
It's not co-op and competitive, but I'm just like that co-op mode. When people talk about it,
now, what would be innovative in Mario Kart is that like for example, because aren't there certain characters that they have like a backseat person in their cart?
That was in Double Dash.
Yeah, that was Double Dash.
Oh, see, now they did more like that, then there's that. I still won't play Mario Kart though. No,
right, and
that series can die in a fire as far as I'm concerned.
Right, and I'm just mentioning that mode. I'm not mentioning games design as like a way out and It Takes Two. I'm just saying the mode. It's just that people, yes, they love co-op games. But there has been games that use that have done 1 million sales that they enjoy.
Hang on a second. Let me spin this.
That's all I had to say.
Only did co-op.
Let me spin this for a second.
We keep on going to games that have co-op and other things. Like this game is just co-op.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we got to remember. It's the only way you can play it is with someone else.
Right.
Hold on. Hey, hold that thought. Let me ask you this. Okay, now notice, EA is publishing his games. Now, what do we all know about EA? If something doesn't work, they cut you loose. If something doesn't work.
True.
So, this guy is making games, they're selling and they're thriving at EA. So, you're still trying to discount what the guy is saying right now?
I'm just saying the way that it was phrased, that people wanted co-op games. I'm just saying that this is nothing new. There's been games that have been co-op that have to have that mode. Now, I guess that was the idea that I was getting, that this mode, has been in games, and there have been games that have sold 1 million and stuff, and that has done wonders.
Were they just co-op?
Were they just co-op only though?
No, I'm just talking about the mode. I'm not talking about the design. I'm
No,
talking
no, no,
about
no, 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 no. This game
That's
is
the mode.
this game.
It's
Yeah,
only co-op.
this
No,
game
right.
is
And
this game
that's
is
why-
this game
and
is
th-
designed
and
to
that's why
only
I-
feature the co-op only mode.
And that's why I said when the way that it was written, when you put in the story, I was thinking that he's talking about co-op as the functionality, not games design as this. So that's what I'm arguing and stuff. That's
Somebody-
what it's
This is
Somebody didn't do
same
their
when-
homework.
This is the same
Well,
when
well,
when
well,
it
I-
says the game's
if-
coming to all
no, the
consoles
thing-
and it's not coming to Switch.
No, because the thing about it is, it's just like when you phrase stuff, people's interpretation of the phrasing is different.
Is that what you got with the whole Mass Effect thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why when people, but I have always argued that. Jesse knows that. Haven't I always argued that if you're gonna say coming from all consoles and you don't see Nintendo's name on it, why are you discounting them even though they have a console out? And
Well, I mean,
people
maybe the plan is for it to come to Nintendo.
and you people do mention that. Well, Wii U was a console that didn't sell. Well, you used the word console in it, so I'm just saying.
Well, maybe hold on. Maybe Nintendo doesn't consider their systems consoles right now.
They do consider their systems consoles.
I'm just saying we're getting to the point where we're splitting hairs. So I was just trying to start splitting the hairs.
I said my piece. I'm gonna let it be what it needs to be.
Nintendo considers them weapons. The Switch is a weapon.
Well, it's a faulty weapon whenever the Joy-Con starts drifting, or when the dock doesn't work right, like I'm experiencing right now.
I didn't know.
How does something you never moved from one spot stop working correctly?
Yes.
Now,
I've turned my Switch
but
on.
that's the same question that I have for PlayStation 1.
I turn my Switch on sometimes and it outputs at 768p, not even 720, like 768. It's like what type of resolution is that?
That I don't know. What'd you say, Austin?
I would like to ask if we could ever get Yosef Fares on the show and ask him a question. Here's the question I would want to ask him. All right. So let's say you sold 1 million copies of this game, but let's say only 30% beat the game. Would you rather that, or would you rather sell half the amount of copies, but 80% of the people finish the game? I would want to ask him that. I want to ask him because remember he was the guy who was saying that that people aren't finishing games enough, that he's upset about people finishing games. I want to see if he puts his money where his mouth is. You know, would he want to sell less games if everyone finished it instead? If he had a higher rate of people finishing it, I do want to see.
I honestly feel like don't discourage getting a paycheck. I think that's everybody's hustle in the world of capitalism. Like you're gonna get a paycheck whether it's an honest buck or not. That's the way I feel, honestly. And when I say honest buck in this case, I mean if I buy his game and I finish it, that technically is the honest buck. But if I buy his game and didn't finish it, technically he should feel like he didn't earn the actual $70.
But the thing about it is he feels like he does earn it. The moment you press buy and your transaction goes through, it don't matter anything after that.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's kind of the way sales works, though.
Well, yeah. All he cares is probably ideally business wise that once you hit buy, that's it. That's all that matters to me. You beat it whenever you feel like you want to.
It's also weird though because like in that same vein, we had John Garvin when we talked about this on Crossroads. We had John Garvin who was on the creative team for Days Gone. He was upset about the fact that folks were not buying games and they were brand new, and stuff like that. So it's almost two sides of the same.
Oh, the Days Gone one.
Of the same coin, because it's like, you know what, a sale is a sale. Like, you're getting your money and you're getting your royalties from it. I'm sure John Garvin is grabbing his royalties whenever he can off any new Days Gone sales. Just like I'm pretty sure Yosef Fares is getting all his royalties off of the 3 games that he currently has on his resume right now and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't know.
That's why Game Pass is such a good deal.
Exactly, they're getting residuals,
and it gets people to play the games. Like
yep.
they don't like. I mean, yeah, like maybe there are going to be some situations. I know how you feel about this. I know how you feel about it. I know how you feel.
I'm going to be writing a feature on the Game Pass and the
Oh,
Nintendo pricing thing. It's going to be a good feature.
Wait, Game Pass and what?
And the Nintendo pricing thing.
What Nintendo pricing thing?
You'll see.
Because I can name 4 different Nintendo pricing things. So what Nintendo pricing thing are you talking about specifically?
When our blog comes out, you'll be able to see it. I'm just leaving at that.
All right, since he's leaving at that, we're going to go ahead and leave this topic as that.
Jesse, real quick, is this game on Games Pass? I know it's on EA, but I don't know if it's on EA Access yet.
I don't think so.
It's okay. Not. It's not on. It's on the. Obviously, if you have the higher tier of EA Access or EA Play, then you'd be able to get it. But yeah, I would imagine soon enough it will, like in a year or whatever, it will be on Game Pass. But because his other game is on there. So
yeah, way out's on there.
I was just curious because I didn't know if these were 1 million copies on PlayStation PC or if PC. So Xbox would be included on this too. So
yeah. I don't did it come out for Xbox? I only know for PlayStation PC. I know that's what most people are playing it on. So.
Yeah, it's on Xbox.
On Xbox. Okay.
All right, cool. Hey guys, so Quantum Break just had a 5-year anniversary.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How do we all
love that game?
I love that game. Me too. Let's have a quick conversation about that. So, April 5th, 2021 marked Remedy Entertainment's Quantum Break reaching its 5-year anniversary. Remedy's Quantum Break released in 2016 as an Xbox exclusive and was met with generally favorable reviews. Now, of course, the game itself eventually broke out on PC and also had some different updates and things, and kind of technically got like a rehash, which in some regards kind of made the game a better experience than when it first launched. The game itself was dealt with themes of time travel and was hybridized with live action cutscenes. So there was a mixture of both in-game cutscenes and actual live action cutscenes where they actually paid actual actors and stuff, like the one dude from Fringe was on it, and stuff like that, and that was really cool. And this game would go on to better solidify Remedy Entertainment's presence in the gaming industry, which led to, of course, their next big release being Control. So guys, let's talk about Quantum Break, because I would just say this. Back when I was still debating what I was going to do as far as consoles and stuff, of course everyone knew I was going to get a PS4. Everyone knew that. But when I saw them roll out Quantum Break, I was like, damn, I'm going to have to buy an Xbox One. So that's how. So luckily for me, it came out on PC, so I didn't have to spend additional money, for hardware.
I will say it was Quantum Break suffered from Sony, getting a lot of praise, and people just me and just talk about how people just were discouraged and just being a little bit hateful and despiteful to Xbox because of what they did in the past. But
what
Quantum Break,
what do you mean? I don't understand this.
Some of their functionality that people switched over, like the backwards compatible thing, like the used games things and stuff like that. How Sony was just kind of one with some of the function stuff after Microsoft dropped news about Xbox One. People were still feeling some kind of burn from Microsoft with Xbox One. But Quantum Break itself, great. I will watch a full season of the TV show just alone. They were so good. The way, the acting, the story plots and stuff was so good. And
really? You know what? That was one of the main complaints in the initial release of Quantum Break. You had to have a live like a live internet service going at the time. You could play the game, but if your internet was not active at the time, you could not see the cutscenes. and what was even worse is that if you're playing the game and you had spotty internet, the cutscenes wouldn't play correctly. They wouldn't play at the correct resolution. They'd be choppy. There'd be terrible buffering and all that stuff. Of course, they got fixed out later, But that was one of the things I do remember.
Xbox One was doing in the graphics department. It looked really good. You froze, LeRon.
Okay. Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
So
something happened. I think my internet dropped for a moment. That's what I get. I was actually talking about internet connections and stuff, and I guess it was like, okay, yeah.
but you was gonna say something, LeRon. I'm sorry.
What did I say actually? What did you guys hear?
Well, you were gonna say something and then you froze, so I don't know.
So it didn't even. We didn't even get to it. Okay, all right. What I was gonna say is initially when the game first released, it was one of those games that was really dependent on your internet connection because a couple of things went on. Like if you could play the game, and when you got to a point where each chapter in a mission, had each chapter in a mission had the full motion video cutscenes and stuff like that, the live action cutscenes.
Yeah.
If your internet was not connected, you wouldn't see the scene.
Yeah, unless you downloaded them though.
Which took up a ridiculous amount of hard drive space. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other problem
today, some of these games that we're getting, it's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
True. Yeah, but the other problem was if you had spotty internet, well, the full motion the full motion video, I'm saying the live action video may play, but it'd be at a horrible frame rate. It'll be at a horrible resolution. It might be buffering, so you're sitting here trying to watch a 12-minute like cutscene, and it's taking you like 35 minutes to see the whole thing and stuff like that. Of course, stuff like that eventually got worked out and things like that. So it wasn't big of a slog. And remember, this kind of came back to bite Microsoft initially, because remember how I was like, oh, you always have to have an always on connection for Xbox Live. Yeah. And so they had to fix that fast.
Yeah. I was just telling them that this is probably one of Microsoft's like best first party games. And like it's literally in my top 5, along with like Gears 5 and like I even like Halo 5 and then Crackdown 3. To me, on the top game will be Forza Motorsport 4. I think that is the best Xbox One game to come out on that system. But like Quantum Break would be like my third one right after Gears 5. Like it's just so good, and I don't know how they were able to make a great game and get a great live action sequence and just make everything work. And I just like I really wish this game did get a sequel and see what Remedy can do.
I wish it would have got a TV show.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But like see someone pick it up and and like, because like like that was one of the things that was cool too, is just like there was a couple of different shows that I've watched over the years, or kind of somewhat was in the process of watching, that were continuing, that had that some of those characters, the actors who played the characters were in. So like I think there's like 3 or 4 different shows that I watched that each one of those characters that was in those sequences was from one of the shows that I a show of mine that I liked. So it was like that helped a lot too, that I really liked the actors and stuff. They picked a really good cast.
It can I just I'm gonna hand it over to you, Austin. The last thing I would say with this is what story narrative driven games that Microsoft needs. If they want to be something like Nintendo or Sony and stuff, this is the kind of stuff that they need. This is the direction they need to go in, because it's the right direction. This feels like a great story narrative driven game.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that Microsoft basically didn't value their relationship with Remedy, because Remedy could have still been like an in-house studio for Microsoft now, and now they're doing their own thing, which is wonderful for guys like me.
Yeah. Well, I haven't said much because I have not played Quantum Break, so
you haven't?
That's a game that's on my backlog. I've gotta play it eventually. So, yeah, I think it's a cool idea when I first heard about it, but at the time it came out, I believe I didn't have my Xbox at that time, so that was just like another list added to the list of games that I will eventually play. So, but yeah, I haven't played it, so I don't have too much to say about it.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool.
It's very similar to Control in some ways, but there's some things that I like the simplicity of that one versus Control, like, because with Control you get all different kinds of like powers and you know, like there's certain things that you can do, but they kind of just it feels like an easier to consume version of Control in some ways.
Quantum Break is like a level-based game where Control is a Metroid adventure style game. But done with good
it's more linear
production and stuff. I will say, and I think that's why I don't like Alan Wake as much as I love Quantum Break. Playing Quantum Break first, and then go to Alan Wake.
Still my favorite.
Still one of the greatest for me too.
I think it's playing Quantum Break and then going back to Alan Wake. It's just like, what in the world were you guys thinking? Alan Wake is a bunch of pandering, and just like, oh, y'all in Naughty Dog territory. So I guess people like it for what it is. Like, I don't have a problem with the story. I think I have a problem with the gameplay with it. I think Alan Wake's story is great. It's interesting. It's the gameplay that's a mess to me. And I feel like Control fixed that. Not Control. Quantum Break fixed that, I would say. So,
yeah, I actually that actually excites me a little bit more about Quantum Break than it's linear, because I feel like that's what I didn't like about Control was just that map like frustrated me to no end. I was just like, why? Do I have to do this
like
much work to get to one spot? No, thank you.
It was too much like an early Resident Evil game, where you're like okay, no, which way did I need to go again? Yeah, because there was times where you get lost in Control, like you straight up have to remember where areas were, because they didn't always tell you where you had to go, but you knew where you had to go, but you didn't know how to get there. You know, like that there was some times that I definitely found that frustrating playing Control, and wish that would have been a more linear game. But
that game had a lot going on for it. I'll tell you that. Like it had the it had presence of actors and stuff like that. You had Sean Ashmore, who's been no stranger to both science fiction and just general TV and movies and stuff like that. You also had what's his name? The bad guy. Who's the bad guy?
I can't think of names right. I'm so bad with remembering names.
It's one of the games I want to go back to and play. I forgot.
Yeah, I should have been a little more ready for this segment. That's cool.
You
said the bad guy on Alan Wake, or the bad guy on
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break.
Oh, Quantum Break.
Yeah,
I was gonna look it up.
Yeah. So yeah. I most of us on the panel will tell you, like, if you haven't had a chance to play Quantum Break, you really should do it. You know, if anything, see what actually got Remedy like to the spot where they could make a game like Control. So like, just check it out. Like Alan Wake. No, Alan Wake was probably the start of it. I'll say that. But Quantum Break was like the whole, like, it was the opus for them, and it's a wonderful game.
Yeah. Aidan Gilling was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like I knew the last name started with G, but I could not remember it, and I was trying to look it up, and I couldn't find anything on the actual cast.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, the guy from Lost and from the Lord of the Rings and stuff was in it.
Yeah.
I kind of was excited to see the black dude for the John Wick movie, who is the
Lance Riddick or whatever.
Yeah,
him. Yeah, that and Fringe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lance Reddick can be in anything, and I'll get excited.
Yeah,
I love yeah, like there's something about the way he plays his characters.
That's what.
But I saw him.
He's so good.
Him in The Wire, man. Once I saw him.
Oh yeah,
he could do anything after this.
Yeah, and then Sean Ashmore. So like at the time, I watched The Following and that show, and he's a main character on The Following.
I need to watch that. Everybody said it's so good.
Well, it was good, but I think they ended up cutting it.
Yeah, they did.
I don't remember if they cut it short or not, but
they cut it short.
Yeah, but yeah, I did love that.
Bobby from X-Men
for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Aidan Gillen's awesome.
Yeah,
I love him in Game of Thrones. The one season I watched.
Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dominic Monaghan, I love him too.
Dominic Monaghan too. Yeah. It had good cast. All right. You know what? Let's do this. I've been waiting for this segment of the show. I've been waiting for this segment. So our next segment of the show is not actually news. It's not actually news or news related. Welcome to what I'm calling the unpopular opinion segment of the show. Video gaming edition, I should say. This segment is going to be an open forum roundtable. Today we're going to present one of our personal opinions about the state of games and or gaming, but present it in the ironic unpopular opinion styling. So, for example, this is an example. Unpopular opinion. DMC Devil May Cry is the best Devil May Cry game to date. Unpopular opinion. And then we would have to explain ourselves for that. So,
is that an unpopular opinion? Because I agree.
When I come meet you, you about to catch these hands. We're gonna go.
Wait, who? Wait, what?
He's gonna catch these hands. We're gonna go out to eat first, and then he's gonna take these hands and these chopsticks.
Wait. Should we actually make this one? Because
Jess doesn't play action style games, so I can understand.
Okay.
But I thought you agreed. Don't you like the just regular DMC game?
Yeah.
The Ninja Theory game. The Ninja Theory game.
Yeah. People find it they didn't like it because of Ninja Theory doing it, and they changed it. So it got a lot of hate.
It was a reboot. It was a reboot. I still don't get to this day. It was a reboot. Like, why did it have to be exactly like what came before?
Well, but that's the thing, Ed, is I agree. I think that's the best one of all of them.
Oh, I thought you.
I was using an example, but I'm gonna roll with this one. Okay, in my opinion, DMC
got me to play the franchise.
Right? Yeah. In my opinion, DMC Devil May Cry is one of the best Devil May Cry titles because I'm at that point because DMC 5 is amazing.
Yeah.
DMC 5 is amazing, but at that point I'm going to say it was one of the best because Devil May Cry was kind of all over the place. The first game was phenomenal. It was a blockbuster in my opinion, and it was one of Capcom's more highly rated games at the time back then, because they were in this weird Street Fighter vacuum, sinkhole where every time we looked there was a different version of an existing Street Fighter game coming out, stuff like that. Things of that nature was going on. But we look at Devil May Cry 2. Devil May Cry 2 was kind of like a slap in the face to what was, like the first game. Like the game had issues, like the gunplay and the stylish system was off. And when I say off, I'm being nice because it was terrible. DMC 3, Devil May Cry 3 was a wonderful return to what the series was. It was great. It had fantastic storytelling. As a matter of fact, up until that point, like it's probably the game that actually had the best storytelling out of all the games. at that point, because even Devil May Cry 1, like, there was still some, it had decent story, but like a lot of the characters, you fought, like, not, you didn't find out that Nello Angelo was actually Dante's brother until you played Devil May Cry 2. It was actually a reincarnated version of, or a corrupted reincarnation of Virgil until you played the second one, and not very many people love the second one. So that's crazy that happened like that. So like you get the DMC3, and like they tie it all together. But then Devil May Cry 4 comes out, and it's kind of like the Metal Gear Solid 2 situation. You play as half the game with somebody that you were not familiar with. And what was bad about this one is that you start the game with Nero, and then you play the rest of the game with Dante, but you're playing in reverse, because you're playing through everything that Nero went through. You got to backtrack with Dante. And me personally, that was the game that I finally wrote Devil May Cry off with. I was like, I've had enough.
Oh wow.
I've had enough. Then Austin, you got something?
Now, just so I'm clear, are you saying DMC Devil May Cry, like the reboot, is the best game?
Yeah.
Not the first one, not the original.
No, not the original. Not the original. No, the original one. The original one stands out on its own, because like it's the predecessor to the entire series.
The series, yeah.
Now we've gotten to DMC. Now we got to DMC Devil May Cry, which is the reboot done by Ninja Theory. I did not know I was going to be using this as my topic, so I didn't look up the date that it came out. But it's been out for a little while. I want to say it's been out for what, 6-7 years now.
Longer than that.
Longer than that.
Yeah, because PS3 360 that it came out on.
Yeah. Now it was a reboot. Capcom actually tapped Ninja Theory to do a brand new Devil May Cry story, and they did a reboot. Now, number one, this game had one of the tightest stories as of yet.
Yes,
it had one of the tightest stories in Devil May Cry as of yet. It talked about everything you could think of. It talked about Dante's parents. It talked about Virgil. It had everything going on for it. But what I think a lot of people got really pissed off and upset about with DMC Devil May Cry is that it kind of seemed like it was an insult to the previous games, which is not the case, because remember in the very beginning, like he was being attacked by all these hell demons and everything, right? And he winds up like flipping through some store, and a white wig like falls on his head, and he looks at himself in the mirror for a second. He's like, nah, not today. And he chucks it.
The thing that got the ire of everybody was the first trailer that they showed at E3 for DMC Devil May Cry. That's what pissed people off.
Can you elaborate on that? Because that first trailer got me amped.
So when they showed the first trailer, Dante had a different look because he was younger and everything, and his persona and attitude was different, and people did not respond to that game at all. Because they were so big fans of the old Devil May Cry games, they felt offended.
And that's so idiotic and short-sighted. I am going to come at gamers on this one, because it's a reboot. It's a reboot. And if anyone paid any attention to what the press release was talking about, this was a story talking about how Dante got to where he is, that we all got introduced to. Because when we got introduced to Dante in Devil May Cry, he was already a badass. He was a cocky son of a bitch.
Right. And so they thought they
thought he was natural like that. I mean,
I guess so, yeah. But before the game actually came out, DMC Devil May Cry got some revisions. So when you see that intro,
true.
That had nothing to do with the first time they showcased or they premiered DMC Devil May Cry.
Yeah. I'm doing a lookup on DMC Devil May Cry. You guys have anything else you want to talk as far as that? While I'm doing this lookup real fast. DMC Devil May Cry. Okay, this game came out in 2013, so it's 8 years old. It was done by Ninja Theory. It was on the Unreal Engine 3. And overall sales of the game, I mean, I can't really say overall sales. Let me see what were the initial sales?
Because you may have to add the definitive edition that came out for one.
Okay, well let's look at it this way. As of January 2021, 3.9 million copies of the original version have been sold worldwide, with the definitive edition adding an additional 1.1 million copies, which brings the total to 5 million copies. It doesn't tell me what the initial sales were, like opening and first year sales. So I don't really know about this. But wait. No, that's Resident Evil 3 remake. Never mind. Okay, but the other point about the game is that I feel like makes it part of this whole unpopular opinion for me is the fact that the game actually returned back to like a combat style that was there in Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 3.
Mm-hmm.
And people overlooked that because Devil May Cry 2's system was garbage. Devil May Cry 4 was trying some weird nonsense.
That combat system is terrible.
Yeah, which is crazy because Devil May Cry 5, I feel like they revolutionized whatever they were trying to do in Devil May Cry 4 with that combat system. I like Devil May Cry 5's combat system. It did throw me off. I was like, man, this feels like DMC4 again, but at the same time, it felt cleaner and better. But yeah, I mean, this game got too much vitriol from the gaming community, and it was a solid game. I guarantee you, if this game did not have Devil May Cry in the title, it would have probably sold hand over fist, like billions, not billions of copies, but millions more copies than 5.3 million copies.
Yeah, and I've never really been into I've kind of loosely followed that franchise. It's a big franchise that you really can't ignore. But like I never really had any interest in playing any of the earlier ones. But yeah, like when that one came out, like that was the first time that I really had any interest in seeing it, and then eventually it did the definitive edition or whatever was on Game Pass when Game Pass first started. Mm-hmm. And so I had tried it there, and I haven't finished it yet, but I did end up buying it, I believe, because eventually it left Game Pass. Mm-hmm. I haven't finished it, but I did like what I played. Even though those aren't normally my kind of games, like I don't know, I just they just don't hold my attention always, but I loved the characters and stuff in that game, and for me that's really what made me even think about it. I liked how they perceived the character in the DMC game.
Anyone else? Because damn, I had inadvertently made this my unpopular opinion. I actually had a better one, but we're doing one unpopular opinion per person. So I mean, if anyone else has anything to say about DMC, say it now before I pick the next person.
And I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time with this because trust me, I have a lot of unpopular opinions, but they're really it's just because like certain things just don't appeal to me like a lot of people do. Like I can sit here and say that like if the God of War franchise never existed, I wouldn't know any differently than right now, because
hold on a second.
I do not care about.
Hang on a second.
Liked that franchise. I don't care about it. I'm glad it exists because a lot of people apparently love it, but it does nothing for me, and it never has.
Hang on a second. Unpopular opinion. God of War is a Devil May Cry clone.
Nah.
There was a bonus. There was a bonus for you. Who's next?
If anything, it's closer to Monster Hunter.
No, actually,
we're about to fight. We're about to fight.
I would say God of War.
I don't think you've even played them.
Right. I would say God of War is more of a Castlevania clone, because Castlevania was doing that kind of style of game.
Yeah. Unpopular opinion. Bayonetta is the better version of Devil May Cry.
Oh, that is true. Unpopular opinion. Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the best games in the series.
Wait, unpopular opinion?
Yes.
one of the best.
Well, you
or
mean-
worst?
Yeah,
It's a lot of
because
people.
everyone agrees that it is the best.
Everyone says it's the best.
It is a garbage of a game.
I know, but that's the thing. You've got to say that then if you're
Oh.
saying an unpopular.
Yeah, unpopular.
Right.
you've
Yeah,
gotta say
unpopular.
that
The
it's
unpopular
not
opinion would
good,
be
that it's not good.
GTA 5 is the worst game in the franchise. That's the
Oh,
unpopular opinion.
So, let's see, unpopular opinion.
We'll give Ed a moment. We'll give Ed a
Is your
moment.
unpopular opinion that Grand Theft Auto 5 is the worst or one of the worst
He
Grand Theft
doesn't
Auto
like
games?
Grand Theft
Rockstar
Auto.
is kind of one of the worst developers in
Oh
general.
my god! All right, well there it is.
Okay, that's a hot take. That's
There it is. Let's
Okay.
unpack this.
So
Actually, wait, Ed, you kind of wrote an article on this, but it was geared towards Grand Theft Auto the series, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. But I literally could count off my one hand that they only made maybe 2.5 good games.
2.5. Wait, what's the half game? What's the half game?
I think
Chinatown Wars because it's on the 3DS.
No, I actually think that Red Dead Redemption 2 is a pretty decent game. I think it's one probably from over an open world sandbox game. It's decent enough. It still has its problems, but it's decent enough. I don't think anything else besides like the load times are garbage. The writing and the setup is stupid. It's troublesome for me, but it's an okay game. I'm not gonna knock it for that. I think Max Payne 3 is pretty much their best game, even though that Rockstar didn't actually do it, they just published it. And I think the Warriors that was on Xbox, that beat 'em up game, is a good one. Anything else that Rockstar has done, it has been questionable content, because I can't say that it's garbage. It's been questionable content.
Wow,
And
Austin, he just threw Bully into the gutter.
Bully is just it's just trying to be like Grand Theft Auto but for kids. Manhunter
It's not for kids.
No,
It's not for kids.
I
Manhunter,
played as a kid, but you should not be playing it.
Manhunter is like a game people forgot. State of Emergency, they tried to make it almost like a Grand Theft Auto game, but that failed. Midnight Club is just a boring racing game. I think Need for Speed is better than
Midnight
that.
Club was actually pretty good, I think.
Okay, so all right, so Ed,
let's have to bring up some stuff. Midnight Club is one of them.
let's rein this in. Now, why do you say that? Why do you say that Rockstar is just a terrible game developer?
Their stories are they're not memorable. The gameplay mechanics are terrible. They can't do a lot of stuff right that other games have been doing right.
I need an example for that one, please.
So the flying in Grand Theft Auto 5 feels like you're playing ET HD with the controls. Like the controls in that game are horrible. You can't see the reticle in shooting them. Some of the level design is like really boring and generic. The flying in Vice City is horrid for that airplane level, and their character storylines are not anything that anyone talks about. No one really talks about their games. Like they're talking about like God of War or like Halo or even that's just even I gotta say It Takes Two if you want to. Like
oh boy,
like nothing about what Rockstar does memorable or impressive. So they only get a pass
Except for the sales of GTA 5.
And that's the thing about it. They only get their sales because of the name. They only get a pass.
Do you really think so though? Do you really believe that?
Yes. When Grand Theft Auto, who do you think talks more? When Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, who was really talking about anything with the characters, the themes, the gameplay, or anything? We have
everyone.
Let me tell you.
Whoa! You know what? Hold on. I'm about to put this in perspective real fast. Hold on. So who's playing Paper Mario on the fact that
And you know what? Yeah, because everybody want Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. If Paper Mario Thousand Year Door has just dropped, more people will be talking about it than Grand Theft Auto 5. When Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, more people talked about the controversy about that game getting dropped at Target in Australia than they have talked about the game itself. More people have talked more about the controversies when it comes to Rockstar and their games than the games themselves. So that kind of says something.
Rockstar is basically what NetherRealm Studio was back when they were getting Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 off the ground.
Oh yeah, but then that passed after Mortal Kombat 1. Well, midway at that time. After all of that Senate hearing stuff came and everything, Mortal Kombat 2 went out to go sell bunker numbers.
And just remember, the United States Senate came after Grand Theft Auto too.
Yeah, they were just trying to they were trying to use that, but that goes into what I'm saying. People have been talking more about the controversy of these games than they have talking about the game itself. The Grand Theft Auto series and a lot of Rockstar games have not been in the conversation when we literally talk about games. Yes, I feel like they went off of production and name alone, but that's when you realize that why would not Grand Theft Auto, I should say. Why would Red Dead Redemption 2 get all of these nominations and it's just dropped? And you have other terrific games that have been out and they don't get a mention at the so-called Game Awards that will be doing better. Like why does a lot of their games get a pass because of their names when no one really talks about it and delves into it? Wind Waker HD was getting more talk and praise, and still to this day get brought up in conversations than Grand Theft Auto 5. None of y'all have mentioned Grand Theft Auto 5.
Wind Waker is not an unpopular Zelda game.
Right,
it's not.
But I'm talking about on that level of popularity and stuff. When have any of you guys mentioned Rockstar games in all the time that we have podcasts before I have said anything?
I have my own biases about Rockstar games, but it's not about the games itself. It's not about the games nor the developer. Okay, so the reason why I don't talk about a lot of Grand Theft Auto games, I have GTA 4. I have GTA 4 and 5. I own them. The main reason why I don't is because I used to live with two roommates, and they would wake me up in the middle of the night to show me their kill count on GTA 3. They would wake me up in the middle of the night. No one had to be at work at 5 in the morning. They wake me up in the middle of the night, stuff like that. So I have a different beef with it, but it's not so much about the actual games, the quality of the games. It's just that what has been subjected to me because of their games. I also own Bully. I have not gotten Red Dead Redemption 2 yet because at the time when Red Dead Redemption 2 was new, like I heard the way to play it is on HDR. It is on HDR, and I did not have an HDR capable television or HDR capable devices, but I do now.
Is that like the update version or a remap, or is that
no? It came out the gate with HDR.
Oh, HDR.
Like if you PC version.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
actually, PS4 Pro actually took advantage of it too.
Because I knew when Bully came out, it was PS2, and we got a version.
No. I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not talking about Red Dead Redemption.
I thought you were talking
Red Dead Redemption. I was all right with that game. I didn't see anything really bad about it. I didn't have a problem with that game.
And I feel like Max Payne 3, where I feel like that's kind of the best game because of the story, the fights were good. It really looks cinematic, like the graphics and everything about that game just fits the way that we were talking about Quantum Break with being a story narrative driven game. That's what Max Payne 3 was, and I'm like, okay, this is something different than what Rockstar has done. I just feel like a lot of their games are copy and paste. They're kind of boring, and I'm like, do something different, do something new. Let me tell you, if Sleeping Dogs would have did the numbers of Grand Theft Auto 5 would have done, I bet you would have had a whole different conversation about open world games.
Guys, did Ed sell you on his unpopular opinion? Because I feel like he didn't sell me on it.
But the thing about like I said, how many of us on Boss Rush or any podcast have been talking about a whole bunch of Rockstar games ever since?
Austin. Me and Austin are the new guys. We're the new guys. Like I came here in July of last year. Okay. Austin, how long have you been around?
Okay, so first of all, you're comparing it to Wind Waker. which is a Nintendo game,
Mhm.
which your whole podcast
The-
is
the-
all about
the
Nintendo,
cult- the
whereas
cult
we
of
are all about
Nintendo.
Hold on, but I'm
and
talking
we have
about
many third party. Hold
but
on.
I'm talk-
We have
okay.
so many third-party games to talk about that we can't just mention Rockstar, who, by the way, only drops a game every 5-6 years on average.
If that.
Nintendo releases 3 games a year, so you're not gonna hear us talk about Rockstar games all the time. Because guess what? The last one was Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's an amazing game, and I put it in my top 10 games of all time. And I'm not a Rockstar lover. Okay, I like Bully, I like Red Dead 2, Red Dead 1. And I don't care for GTA at all. But you cannot tell me that no one talked about the GTA story, because Michael and Franklin and Trevor are talked about all the time.
I have
The Ballad of Gay Tony.
The Ballad of Gay Tony, which is
You know what?
DLC.
That DLC came out. That DLC came out and actually got people who had not bought a Grand Theft Auto game previously to buy that game.
Because it has something really gay person.
I was working at GameStop at the time, and I would have customers that I knew were like universally Nintendo customers, but they had a PlayStation or an Xbox, and they'd be like, "Hey, is the new GTA out?" And I'm like, "Which new GTA? Because GTA 4 has been out forever." No, the Gay Tony one. I was like, "You don't play Grand Theft Auto. What are you doing in here?" They wanted that game though.
Well, I kind of just, and that's why I feel like they don't. For me, they don't make the best games, and people just give them a pass and everything. Like we could talk about any other game and go into a deep discussion about it. I don't think we could do the same thing with Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, not Grand Theft Auto, I'm sorry, with Rockstar. And I really just feel like they do not make, I'm not saying they don't make the games for me, but I feel like they don't make the games that we take seriously. And
Somebody's taking them seriously because I know this when I worked at GameStop, and I'm pretty sure you know this too. Working at when you worked at Toys R Us,
yes,
there was 2 times a year when we would see the biggest influx of customers: Madden season and a new Grand Theft Auto game was coming.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is too is like, no one of us, Twitter or social media or anything, can ever be a consideration of the entire world. But that's the thing, is you just because you don't hear something doesn't necessarily mean that no one's talking about it. But
All right, hold on.
The nature of podcasting in general is you want to keep up on the more up to date things, so people aren't going to continue. I mean, even though we do still hear constantly in the news about GTA 5 because it's still selling big. It's coming out with new content all the time.
For the online mode,
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. That's still GTA 5. It doesn't matter what it is.
All right, so hang on a second, because we gotta let Ed go, and it's not because he's being controversial on the show. Ed's got other obligations going on. He's got other life obligations going on.
We asked him to have an unpopular opinion, so
and now he's dropped his unpopular opinion and is running. No.
I'm just saying that I feel like Rockstar don't make the best games. They're not a great developer. They got some good hits. I won't deny that. Like I said, the Warriors, part of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Max Payne 3. I think those are their top games that has come from them. Everything else just fall by the wayside. And I think there's better developers who have done games in those same genres and done it better. But Rockstar just gets a pass because it's just their name. So that's
all right, Ed. I know you have to run, so go ahead and throw your plugs out there.
You guys can find me on Twitter at @RetroCode. Come on, let me know what you guys think about my I guess unpopular opinion, whatever.
You know, I'm clipping this. And I'm actually gonna publish it. I'm clipping this.
You guys can find, like I said, you guys find me on Twitter at @RetroCode. Check out Nintendo Pop Block on 7:30, 8:30 p.m. on Boss Rush Games. Boss Rush Live here on Twitch. And I love you guys. Love discussing games and everything. And yeah, hit me up on Discord also if you guys want to check it out. But you guys have a great week. All right. I'll talk to you guys later and everything. Like I said, I love you all. I love you, Austin. I love you, Jesse. I love you, LeRon.
Take care, man. We love you too, man.
Oh, okay.
And I can't be mad at you for your opinion because it's literally your
we don't.
opinion. You know, like I said,
ahead,
there's
LeRon.
things I hate too that I know people would just completely destroy me over. But
What you gotta say, LeRon?
We don't hate you. Don't worry, you're not getting voted off the island. If this was LeRon Rush Entertainment, you might not be back next week.
I was trying to find ways to get back, and
oh yeah, whatever. All right, man. All right, man. You take it easy though.
Have a good one, Ed.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now,
and I shouldn't say hate though. I shouldn't say hate because there's no games that I hate.
No, I hate Mario Kart with a passion.
Well,
if I'm at a party and everyone starts playing Mario Kart, like like how like parties hit that lull, at some point in the party. If everybody's like, "Hey, let's play Mario Kart," I'm like, I'm going home.
Well, someone brought up Mario Kart 99, and I'm like, yeah, could you imagine, being in first place and 30 blue shells hitting you,
right?
And you're just stuck there for a minute, not being able to move because it's like,
yep.
Then everyone passes you.
All right, Austin, you're up. What's your unpopular opinion?
That
was a doozy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with him on some parts, but it's like me saying no one talks about Minecraft when there's a million people who talk about Minecraft, and I never see it because I do not give a care about it.
Yeah, because you're not talking to 10-year-olds all day long.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, like those.
I'm not that popular of a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I don't know. My unpopular opinion. I've always been on the deal where like I'm tired of open world games to a big extent, and I wish we could get back to more linear type games. But I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not. I'm just ready for open world games to be kind of like a 1 out of 10 thing instead of
every game.
10, it seems, or 7 out of 10. So
yeah. I mean, I think that narrative has been kind of slowly going towards people being sick of them, because so many times they've come out and they've just kind of ended up being a waste of time in some cases. Anthem. As much as I love that game and defended it, and still to this day, like I think there is a good game in there, but it's still to a lot of people though, like my opinion aside, that it was a waste of time. Like that game was just straight up a waste of a lot of people's time because now it's not even getting finished, like they had said they were going to. So but I think a lot of those games have soured people.
I think the argument that supports Austin's claim on this is the fact that as adults, we have to manage our time with how we play games and stuff. And sometimes open world games, if you don't have something that keeps you focused on the overall objectives, like my roommate can't stand when I buy a brand new game, because if he wants to play it, he might as well buy his own copy, because I will explore every nook and cranny of a game. And so and he can literally beat the same game. Like he beat The Last of Us 2 in 9 hours. He beat Miles Morales in 3 and stuff like that. Whereas Austin, you guys remember y'all give me hell because I beat Miles Morales in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think, and so the argument, I get your argument because, like, linear games, when games are more linear, you have the focus to actually get to the end objectives or to at least make your goals in games, stuff like that. And I get it because there have been times I'm like, man, it's the reason why I haven't finished The Witcher. There's just so much shit to do. Witcher 3.
Oh yeah. I eventually had to break down and even get into spoilers with Witcher 3, where I was like, all right, just tell me where I need to go to finish this, to get to the story part of this game, because I felt like I was missing so much of the conversation with like my friends who had already beaten it. That's like, I just want to finish the game so I can keep. I'm tired of doing all these like destroying all the nests and stuff, because that's my biggest problem is if I see a question mark on a map, I'm going to do it. Like it's like an OCD thing where I can't just leave something undone. Right. Like that bothers me. And so with Witcher 3, I had to do like the filter on the map and just say, hey, only put objectives on there,
yeah, I did that too. I started doing that too.
To go to.
Yeah, I started doing that too, actually.
I was so done with it.
Yeah, Witcher 3 was one of those games that I didn't even bother trying to play because I ended up buying it used, like a used copy of it, and I literally played it for about maybe 10 minutes, and I'm like, and I was just like, nope. Like part of that was because I thought that I could dedicate the time that I needed to play that game. But as more and more people talked about it and how long it was, I was just like, man, what? I might as well just not even bother putting any time in because I know I'm never going to finish this game. Yeah. Like, I just don't have the time that I need. And that's kind of the same thing that happened with Red Dead 2 is, like, when I played, when the first one came out, I was at a time when I could sit down and play, put a long day into playing a game, and I was able to finish that game, but I just knew that I was never going to get around to finishing Red Dead 2. And I wish I could, and maybe someday will, but it just. And that's why, like I was saying too, like when it comes to unpopular opinions, most of it is just because of the situation I'm in. It's not even that I hate the games. Like it just certain things just don't do it for me, and that's just the way games are, though. But that's the great thing about games is they do make all different kinds of stuff for everyone. But so yeah, I mean, because honestly, like I said, like for me, I just don't get into the whole like God stuff when it comes to, like, all the stuff that the lore that the God of War games are based around. That kind of stuff doesn't really interest me either. So that's one of the problems is you've really got to be interested in the topic or the the lore of that kind of stuff to really be into those games as much as most people are. And and that's why I try not to be negative about stuff just because I don't like it, but I mean, sometimes it comes off that way.
That actually might be my unpopular opinion then, is just less reading in games. So
yeah, I'm with you on that one.
You know what? Nowadays, when there's so much like actual spoken dialogue in games, why do we have so much reading? This is almost like Cinema Sins, where like the first thing you talk about is like 9 minutes worth of credits, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about this game earlier, Control. There are so many papers to pick up in that game that I was like, oh, I cannot read.
Cyberpunk has that problem too.
I'm like, I love reading. Like, I read books, but I keep those separate. Like, I like my books here and my games here, and it's two different modes that I'm in. And that's why I think, like, I mean, and this is my favorite series of all time, BioShock, but I think they do it so well with the audio tapes where, like, you're getting the side story as you're playing the game.
Dead Space does that too. Did that too, actually.
Yeah, and that's why I love those type of games. If you can give me the side story and all the extra story while I'm playing the game, that is way better than, like, and Also, this is another thing with Control, is when they did the audio tapes, you couldn't keep going. You had to like wait for the audio tapes to be done, and you couldn't play the game while listening to the audio tapes. That I would like less reading in games because I really do want to try to get everything that I can, but there's so much stuff that doesn't need to be there. And I get it. You're trying to make it look like a real world. I live in the real world. I don't need that. I want whatever
go
game
to
you
game
want to
6, escape from the
play.
real world.
Yeah.
Austin, you uncultured ruffian! Like
I know.
you don't like to read? What the?
Let the Reddit threads make some fan fiction about it, okay? Let me go there, because that's like I love Skyrim, and I've played it so many times that I have read a lot of the stuff in there, but there's stuff in there that I'm reading the same book over again. It was like, I didn't have to read this, but it's there, I guess. It doesn't do anything for me, doesn't help me with anything. But if hey, here's a book here that I can read, and it tells me something about the game, like it tells me, like, it gives me a hint as to solve a puzzle later, like that seems cool to me. But if you just give me some words on an empty page that isn't going to mean anything later, I would just like X all that out. Like, if it doesn't mean anything, just get rid of it. And I feel like that's like 60-70% of the stuff that's where you could read is just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, when you have ADD like me, that stuff just takes me out of the game, and then I lose focus, and it doesn't really help me want to continue a game sometimes. When that happens. I'm the exact same way. Like I don't mind reading, but when I when I read, I don't really remember things well when I read something, but if I hear it or I see like an actual like video thing of it, then like it's much easier for me to remember things if I hear it. So for me, like when it comes to reading stuff, it's like I'm just gonna forget this later anyway, so it's not really gonna do what you wanted it to do for me. And I realize that that's something, that's just a part of an issue that I have, but I mean, I just feel like if they did it in audio form or whatever of that stuff you want me to read, I feel like everyone would retain that more than only a few, a majority of the people, retaining it through reading. So yeah, I'm 100% with you. Like I have a really hard time when, that's why I don't play a lot of RPGs, because a lot of RPGs, it's just like scroll. It's like, God damn it. Can I skip it all? Hold the skip all. So I don't retain any of the story because I don't care enough to sit here and read for 15-20 minutes before every fight or whatever. It's like, yeah, just give me audio stuff.
Jesse, did you was your unpopular opinion the God of War stuff? Or,
yeah, pretty much. That's the thing, is like, honestly, a lot of my, like, that I can think of, like, off the top of my head right now that are unpopular opinions are just things like that, where I just don't care enough about something that's super popular. Like, I mean, that goes over to bands too. Like, I can't stand like U2. I can't stand.
That's a whole.
Like, you guys, I think, agreed, but like someone, but like, one of the worst bands in the world, in my opinion, is Guns N' Roses. Like, I can't effing stand that band. I love Slash, but I can't effing stand that band, dude. Like, oh my God, them and I know this is unpopular of all unpopular opinions. I can't stand Eminem either. His voice is irritating. It feels like
okay, I can agree with you. I can agree with you on the irritating voice. I can agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
once he started doing that what's that dog's name? Whenever he started doing that weird voice.
Yeah.
When that video came out, it went all downhill from there. It's like, oh, could you stop doing this voice? We're done.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually watched an interview where he talked about where he's gone back and listened to his old music, and he's just like, "Oh my god, man, it's awful." like he at least he's self-aware enough that he realizes that he sounded awful. Like that whiny, like, oh my god, it just
Hey, that's what made him edgy when Dr. Dre discovered him, though.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask, did you play God of War 3?
No, I played. I think I played a little bit of 1 and 2 way back, way back in the day, and like I said, I just really couldn't get into the, like any of the topic that the game is based around. So I just was like, I just didn't care enough, either about like the gameplay and stuff. It just all together is just something that I just not gonna get into. I've just accepted it.
Yeah, I don't really care for God of War 1 and 2. I really like 3 and 4, because 3 is kind of like, well, I don't know, you haven't played Shadow of the Colossus, have you?
I did play that. Yeah, I played that on the original on PS2 or whatever.
So that God of War 3, I think, is just like where the bosses are like the main part, and everything else is kind of the side stuff. That to me is why I like it. And then 4 is just. Yeah. But if you don't like that kind of like world, then you're not gonna care, because it's definitely more about the story in the PS4 than it was anything else.
Because, like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there is a hint of, like, kind of somewhat God of War a little bit to Horizon Zero Dawn. Like just with the whole having the big characters and stuff that you're, taking down, and, things like that I feel like has kind of always been a focus for the God of War games, is like these, these big dramatic, like, like scenes where you're, like you're the small guy who's like taking on these like, gigantic, things or whatever. Like, I don't know, like there are aspects of it that I do find interesting, but I just, as a whole, it just hasn't really captured my imagination, really. But again, that's just a me problem.
All right. Well, I gotta say, this was a fun segment that I introduced. I gotta say, it had its challenges. But you know what? I kind of like this. I'm gonna see if we can get this going again on future shows. I like when we have roundtable discussions like this and things like that.
Yeah.
Like this is pretty cool. We try to do it on Crossroads. And I don't know, like maybe I'm just interested in my own flair and stuff. Like we've been doing this. Corey's still on paternity leave, so we've been doing this for like a hot minute, without him and stuff like that. And Corey's probably like, whoa, what the hell's going on with the shows? Well, who knows? But hey, hit us up over on Twitter at Boss Rush Network, and give us one of your unpopular opinions on the video game industry, and let's have a conversation about it. But that's our show for the week. We'd like to give a big thank you to you for tuning in and listening to the Boss Rush podcast. Before we head out, here's how you can get and stay connected with our panelists. Somebody go. Plug yourself.
You can find me at PlaceDawson on Twitter, and you can find everything else in the pinned tweet. And then, of course, you can catch me on Crossroads. If you're listening live, go check our Twitter page for a chance to win a Returnal. If you're listening to the podcast form, you're a little too late. But go buy Returnal. Go buy Returnal. It's great.
All right, Jesse.
Some may say you can meet me at the Crossroads.
Oh, here we go.
No, but you can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS. And I'm over there on Arsenal X talking about Xbox with Ed, trying to hopefully keep them from talking about Nintendo.
How's that working out for you, by the way?
Man, it goes off the rails. It's funny. It's funny because I like, we get into heated discussions, obviously, because a lot of discussions turn out like the Grand Theft Auto one when it comes to Ed sometimes. and but
you don't say.
We got in a heated discussion about Square Enix and and all that, and we were talking about the like buying, by whether they would be if they were bought by Xbox, and kind of went into all that stuff. But in the notes for the show, I put me, Jesse, and Ed get in a heated discussion about something that doesn't matter anyways, because they said that they're not for sale, So like I wanted because that's just it, like we have these heated discussions and stuff, but at the end of the day, like we just laugh about it, and it's all fun and games, literally. So like so but yeah, that was a pretty heated discussion we had. But
all right, and Arsenal X is just pure recordings, right? It's not. There's not a live. There's not a live or anything.
Yeah, no, because unfortunately, though, with the way my schedule works, and and just with family and everything, it's a lot easier for me to do it later at night. And Ed works till late too, as well. That's part of it. And one of these days, my friend Pat does want to get on some episodes with us. But that's the problem, is we're just kind of in a rough situation where it's hard for me to ask anyone to stay up that late to join us. So unless you're already working third shift, it won't really, or working late shift, it wouldn't really be an easy situation for someone to join us. So
right. So when's the Arsenal X podcast go live on audio?
Audio goes live I think at 6 a.m. on Tuesdays, or 3 a.m. I think is usually around the time that Corey wanted it up at. Sometimes I'm later than that, just because I gotta try to edit the show Monday morning. After work, or I should say Tuesday morning after work sometimes, if I can't get to it. But yeah, so and then the video form goes up on YouTube at 7 a.m. on Tuesday. So
cool. All right. As always, you can always catch me on social media at Exodus EXODUS 803. Do not forget to come in and check me and Austin out Tuesday nights on twitch.tv/Exodus803 for the Crossroads PlayStation podcast for Boss Rush Games. And then if you don't mind, come back Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well, and check out Hunters for Hire with me and Galatrad, the Monster Hunter podcast of the Boss Rush Games Network. And also, we'd like to go ahead, take the time to remind you to head over to bossrushgames.com and take a look at all the content that Boss Rush has to offer. There's something for everyone. Our writing team is top notch right now, and I say top notch, that's to blow them up, but basically they are doing good things. Our writing team right now for the website. If you are passionate about video games and you enjoy writing, and maybe are looking for a place to be published at, hit us up on email, opportunities@brg@gmail.com to apply. If you're curious about what our writing team is getting into, bossrushgames.com. Head over there, check it out. And of course, while you're over there, don't forget about other shows and editorials available over at bossrushgames.com. We're heading out. The Boss Rush Games family wants you all to have a great day, and go out there and play games. Be better. Take care of yourselves, and we'll be back next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Later, everyone.